And good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Daring Dialogues. I'm your host tonight, Shantae Charles. I hope that you've been having a great and wonderful day. I know I have. It's been pretty busy, but it's been a productive day. So, yesterday on my IG, I accidentally, for some reason, did not finish the upload. It's saved to my device. So, episode 33 is uploaded on the Daring Dialogues Facebook page. So, if you don't see it here on IG, you can always go to the video section on Facebook, Daring Dialogues, same page on Facebook, and look for episode 33, which yesterday was about Black Power and also about the long history of the Confederate battle flag. So if you want that video, you can find it on my Facebook page, Daring Dialogues, episode 33, or you can go to YouTube and find it there. All right. So tonight, I had to make a decision because I am going to end a little bit early, but I had to make a decision between reading to you Get Good with Money or The Whiteness of Wealth. Both of them are really good sections, but because I know I'm not going to have enough time to cover both of them, I want to hear from you tonight. So I will take a vote. All right. Put a one up if you want me to share about 10% whole budget building. We're going to get to this topic. We may not get to it tonight, depending on the votes. So put a one if you want me to share with you tonight about whole budget building, or put a two if you want me to share about a history breaking case with two Black couples. And it's the topic is being married while Black and how the tax code affects us. So I will wait. And if I get more ones than twos, then we'll go with the budgeting book tonight. If I get the number two, if I have more twos, we'll go with the Whiteness of Wealth book. All right. So Alethea, you're gonna have to. Looks like you're gonna have to split the vote here. I have one for the budgeting book. I have one for Married While Black. So put a one if you want me to talk about budgeting tonight. Put a two if you want me to talk about what happened with a married Black couple and how they subsequently changed the tax laws. So I am waiting. Uh-oh, I don't have a tiebreaker. No tiebreakers yet. So somebody's going to make me break the tie, huh? I'm waiting, I'm waiting. Oh, flip a coin. Do I have a coin to flip? And is it near me? It's the other question. Why isn't it near me? Oh, I do have a coin to flip. All right, who's calling heads? Who is calling heads? I think I have a dime somewhere. You know, there's a whole quote unquote supposed coin shortage. Let me see. Do I have a dime? Who's calling heads once I find this? Once I find it. Oh, I'm finding money I didn't know I had. Look at that. Lord have mercy. All right. I mean, I found a whole bunch of money I didn't know I had. This is thanks. Okay, Lady Barbara is calling heads. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Okay, that was bad. I didn't look at it. Okay, heads is the budget book, tails is the whiteness of wealth. All right, it is the budget book, it is heads. So hold on, so you guys don't think I'm cheating. There it is. All right, heads it is. I literally had to go searching for a coin. This is not good. So here we go. Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche, 10% whole budget building. She says, I've got to be honest. I'm dancing a little in my chair just thinking about the brightness of your future now that you're taking the first step toward getting good with and being in control of your money. Yay, budget time. But does the idea of budgeting make you a little nervous? Downright scared? Don't let it. Yes, you have some work to do, but this work is the good work, the kind that will give so much back to you if you just roll up your sleeves and get started. So walk into this work feeling excited. You know why? Because a budget is your say yes plan. It can allow you to say yes to your wildest dreams, going on vacation, going back to school, starting a business. You can say yes to all these things if you're willing to make the necessary changes. Know that by actively taking charge of your budget, you are laying out the path toward your fabulous future. The plan. To learn how to create, maintain, and at least partially automate your budget. A proper budget needs to be formally documented, written or typed out, fully or semi automated itemization of your income, expenses, and savings. If it doesn't meet these criteria, it's not good enough for you and your future. Now, there are certain banks now that if you do online banking, it actually has a sort of budgeting and spending system built in. I know my bank does now, where you can see how much of your money every month is going to certain categories. So you may even want to do a budgeting system like that or a spending system. So you're actually getting a visual picture of where your money is going. So that can be added in as a part of your budgeting plan. The key concept here is that budgeting is an active task. You can't be passive about it. A budget based on vague information like I spend maybe $40 on gas and about $200 on eating out every month, and I think I'm saving about $500 a month right now, is not a budget that will form the foundation of your financial life. It'll form some kind of foundation, all right, but an unstable one that shakes when you put one little baby toe of pressure on it, and you can do better. A better budget is built from the bricks of facts and figures about your finances, a very specific and accurate understanding of how much you bring in every month, as opposed to just knowing the total for the year. Now, of course, this is going to differ from someone who is retired, maybe, or on a fixed income like disability, Social Security. You've probably got a better handle on creating a budget than someone who maybe is a entrepreneur or a independent contractor where your income can possibly vary from month to month. So just keep that in mind. So you want an understanding of how much you bring in every month, a firm handle on your fixed and fluctuating expenses, typically bills, and a completely unvague idea of the rest of your monthly expenses, things like entertainment, groceries, grooming, etc. I know for our whole household, we've gotten pretty good at determining how much per week we're spending. And so we kind of put it on a bit of a sliding scale with maybe a $10 to $20 difference. But because our diet is so consistent most of the time, we can kind of gauge how much money we're going to be spending every month or every week, specifically on things like groceries. This is what will give you something solid upon which you can stand, something upon which you can start building your dreams. If all you've got is a lot of maybes and abouts, you have nothing more than a cloudy vision of your own cash flow. Remember, we are here to make your money make sense to you. If you don't know what it is doing, you aren't going to be doing much with it. The good news is that you already have everything you need to create your budget, so you just have to get to know it better. Your money can no longer just be an acquaintance. You've got to make it your bestie. You're all about the knowledge, and knowledge is power, so lean into that power. I like to think of starting a budget like going to a doctor when you're feeling a little bit off, but you're not sure why. There are 8 steps to feeling better, listed more specifically in the to do section that will follow. Steps 1 to 4 is going to help you identify your diagnosis by asking questions and helping to bring to light what's currently happening with your money. These steps are in a very deliberate order to help you self diagnose, so don't skip ahead. Steps 5 through 8 will introduce ways to help you get better, specifically to help your financial situation better. Think of these steps as your fix it section. And now that you know what's wrong, the good doctor can help you with solutions. We'll also look at tried and true strategies for reducing your expenses, as well as ideas for increasing your income. When it's all said and done, you'll be able to make some moves toward budget, bank account, and money automation. As you do the work, keep in mind that budgets don't grow money, they manage money. But don't worry, we'll show you how to grow your money later in our investment chapter. The best way to prepare for our budget appointment is to get access to your bank accounts and bills from the last few months and bring them with you. Once you do, you're going to be able to whip this budget up in no time. This is not rocket science or even science at all. To start, we're going to do 2 simple things: observe and document the life of your money. Then we'll take some steps to keep better track of it all. So, here is your to do list. We're going to start with to do number 1 tonight, but she's going to give you all 8 steps. And then we'll just talk about step number 1. And then you'll have a little bit of homework if you're going to do this, that we'll check in on next Friday. So you have a week to start working on this first to do, number 1. So the first thing we're going to do is make a money in list. The second is make a money out list. The third is calculating how much each expense costs monthly. The fourth is calculating your beginning monthly savings. Your fifth is assigning control categories to your expenses. The sixth is reducing your expenses as needed and looking for ways to increase your income, and then recalculating your savings. The seventh is separating your funds, and the eighth is getting automated. So, in addition to gathering up your recent bank statements or maybe some receipts from recent expenses, you'll need just a couple of simple tools for this process. First, if you're old school and analog, you can get a cute journal or notebook. This doesn't have to be fancy, but I know from experience that using something bright and eye catching, something that's not going to just get buried on your desk or bedside, is really helpful because you want to notice it and know what it represents. You want to see that notebook or journal and think, oh, that's my financial future, and be happy about it. If you're like me, sometimes I will get a financial journal, or I will get a journal that has the money color green. I might even get some stickers and slap it on the front of it, as a part of giving myself a visual reminder that that is something that I need to be going to, paying attention to, sometimes either daily or weekly. Also, when she's talking about cutting down expenses, I have a coupon book. So where every month I can stick in coupons that expire within that month, and I can always go into it and say, what can I pull out for this month where I can save some money? So those are just some ideas in terms of that. So if you're working on this on your computer, you can give the document or file a title that makes you feel good when you see it. Maybe something like My Richer Life. That's definitely what I would choose. The idea of getting this detailed about your budget makes you anxious. If it does, I'd suggest you tap into the calming power of scent. Why not burn a candle while you're doing this exercise? Seriously, budgeting isn't exactly a trip to the spa, so bring the spa feeling to your process. So the first part is number one, make a money in list. Again, we're going to check back in on this on next Friday and see if you've actually done it. So you need some accountability. Check in with us on next Friday so we can ask you, have you done your money in list yet? So let's talk income. If you're salaried, you already know what your total annual pay is supposed to be. And if you're anything like me, you definitely know the actual per month dollar down to the penny amount you make after taxes and deductions. But if you don't know, it's easy to find out by looking at your pay stubs. If you make an hourly wage, take a look back at the last 3 to 6 months worth of earnings and look at what you're pulling in each month. Then calculate the average and write this down. Don't stop there. You may be getting little injections of income that you don't even consider, but they can make a difference when you get to calculating your final tally. You might get alimony or child support. Include it. You might have an eBay side hustle or sell homemade beauty products at your local hair salon. Include that. Also consider any investment interest income, Social Security income, or disability payments that come your way. Think about all the ways that income comes into your household and identify specific amounts. Get all of these income figures, big and small, down on paper and add them for a grand total, or what I call your total monthly take home pay. This is the start of your money list, the money in part. So, your assignment is make your money list and add your money in income to it. There's no time like right now to get started. So, if you want to download the most up to date template, she does have a free template that's available on her site, getgoodwithmoney.com. So, for those of you who like to work by computer, there is a free template there where you can actually download it and complete this assignment. This task should take you no more than a few minutes. So, it is good to practice and do a practice form. Make sure your income levels and numbers and everything are right, and then fill it in and print it out. The faster you get to work, the faster it will work for you. So, that is my reading for tonight. How many of you already have a budget around certain things going on in your life? I know I have a budget around groceries. I have a budget around coffee because that's probably my one weekly expense. And so I try not to go over the budget that I have. And if I do go over it, or if I feel like I'm getting close to it, then I say, you know what? I'm done with gourmet coffee for the week. I have a coffee maker at home, so if I start fiending for some coffee, I am not tied to, I absolutely have to go and get some designer coffee this week. Groceries, yes. So for my husband and I, because it's only us two, and we don't have several mouths to feed, we tend to, we have a pretty decent budget for our groceries. We don't eat a whole lot of foods. Um, but I cook at home. He takes a lunch from home to work, so we don't do a whole lot of eating out during the week. And then we have a set budget also for eating out. So if we do decide to eat out, we either choose a Saturday or a Sunday to eat out once a week together. Now, I know some people, they eat out every single day, or they eat their lunch out, and maybe they eat their breakfast and their dinner at home. But whatever works for you, try to, as you're going through this process, think about how it is that you're spending your money. One of the things I think about, excuse me, why is it that my YouTube video is always falling down here? Never my IG, just my YouTube. Sorry about that, guys. So the one thing that I try to think about, and I appreciate with her writing, is that she's trying to get you to be mindful, right? She's trying to get you to be mindful about every dollar that you are spending. And even if you're a person that's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with this every single week, at least we know one thing is going to come from this activity, and that is more mindfulness about how you actually are spending your money. But this is the first step. So I like the fact that she is breaking it down into bite-sized things that anybody can do. So this is what I wanted to share tonight. If you would like to come on and talk about this subject, talk about your experiences with budgeting, whether or not you have difficulties with it or not, how it has been working out for you. I know for me, because a lot of my work now, I went from salary to being an independent contractor working for 3 different companies right now. So I've got to restructure how I was budgeting. So that's my big challenge right now. But if any of you want to come on and share what your challenge is, feel free to come on if you're on IG, and we will chop it up for a little bit. And let's say hello, Lady Lavon. Good to see you tonight. All right. Any comments? I am waiting. All right, Lady Barbara is going to step in. Lady Barbara, this was your topic, that one for the night. Next week, we're going to be looking at the whiteness of wealth, and then we'll be checking in to see if you have done part 1 of your assignment. Good evening.
Good evening. I've actually started part 1 of this assignment, and what I have to get disciplined with is some of my online shopping for things.
Okay.
So I'm working on that. But I've been doing this, and I have to become more disciplined and more consistent with laying out my budget and how I spend. Because I know what comes in, and I know, I have a good idea of what goes out, I do. But there's some parts in it I need to know and really, really be mindful of, that I don't have to. I don't eat out because I don't digest a lot of things very well. Mm-hmm. So I do a lot of cooking.
Yep.
For myself. So
and what's interesting for me is when you talk about cooking has almost become like very therapeutic for me.
Yeah, I love it.
It's I don't know, something about being in that flow and just standing in one place and waiting. Like I don't start food and then leave the kitchen and come back, because stuff will be on fire.
I stay. I'm there. I'm hands on.
I'm just
love that.
Yeah. So just that whole standing there, watching things simmer, stirring the pot, looking at it, observing it. I don't know. For me, it's very therapeutic. And
I made crisp dry beans. Today I made beans.
Cool. And the fun part about it now is because Robert is eating more. He's taking lunch from home more.
Yeah.
People, when he comes into the break room to eat, everybody
because they smell.
He said everybody comes to the break room and sits down and want to have conversations then when he's trying to eat, and they're like, your good smelling food is drawing us to the break room.
That reminds me of when I would take food. People would say, "Do you cook and bring food?" I cannot eat a lot of things that people eat out. And when I worked too, I was always conscious of that, and the fact that things are expensive.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's also a proud moment, because if you knew me even 10 years ago, I was not a cook. I just was not. That was not my forte. But I think it's interesting because I come from a line of relatives and family members who are superb. Like they were 5-star and are 5-star chefs A lot of
But
my
I
uncles
would
are.
never know that you didn't know how to cook. When you share things that you're cooking in the curry dishes, I
Yeah,
would never think that 10 years ago you could not cook.
ma'am, let me tell you. I'm gonna tell you guys a funny story about my husband so you guys can get a good laugh in tonight. So when I first got married, I started out, I only knew one thing that I could cook well, and it was stewed tomatoes and sausage with
Mm,
yellow rice. And I
yes,
would cook I mean, it tasted great, but I would cook it almost every week. And
yeah.
do you know that it wasn't until recently that Mr. Charles
He didn't like it.
said anything about the fact that he did not like that food? And he was like, "Thank you, God." He was like, "I was praying that you would learn something else."
Thank you, Jesus.
He was like, "I was praying that you would learn something else because," I was like, "Honey, you could have said something." I was like, I would have learned how to make
He
something
said,
else if you
I
had
didn't
said
want to. He
something.
didn't want to discourage you though. So he's a good husband. He said, Lord, I'm gonna pray and I'm gonna eat this until you teach us something.
And so it's interesting because he would do, I would say, 90% of the cooking at the
Uh-huh.
start of our marriage. And now, here we are moving into year 22 next year. I'm doing the
Yeah,
majority of cooking, and I like it.
I
So
do.
it's
I love
not
it.
so it's not a thing of, "Oh, I'm being forced to go into the kitchen and
No,
slave for this person." No, I like the therapeutic feeling of cooking.
my
And
neighbors tell me I cook all the time, but I don't cook all the time.
because of it, it to me it's very therapeutic. So now
It is.
it's like I play around with recipes. I have my
Yes.
own special barbecue sauce that I make now. I make my
I
own
like that.
curry sauce. I'm actually
Yes.
trying to figure out how to get my curry sauce patented because I want to sell it.
Oh,
I want to sell it
oh,
as an
that's
instant curry sauce.
fantastic. Because you
So,
know what? Cooking is creativity too. And you're
yeah,
an artist. So in the kitchen, you whip up, I make up sauces and stuff.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
now, because it's getting colder, I
I
have
love
a
it.
I have a big Ninja soup blender where you can actually make
Yeah.
soup inside of it.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna
Oh,
try
wow.
to make some kind of turkey soup. I haven't decided like how I'm gonna do
Oh,
it yet, but I'm
that's
gonna be
good.
experimenting with some ground turkey and
Oh, wow.
potatoes and lentil beans. Like that's what I have in my mind,
Yeah.
but I don't know where I'm gonna go with it.
With it.
So back to budgeting. Got to bring it back. So back to budgeting. One of the ways that helps us to budget is as we start being mindful of our eating habits, right?
Uh-huh.
That goes
Yeah.
into being mindful of your grocery spending habits. And
Uh-huh.
then the more that you are fine tuning what you eat that works for your body, you
Yes.
start to hold on one second. One second. So I am a list person, right? I love lists. So
Uh-huh.
you can get these that's already pre-made,
Ah.
and you can get this from and they have all kind of lists for just about everything. I love this company. It's called knockknockstuff.com.
Oh, yeah.
And so they have one that's like a weekly chart to monitor what you're eating every week. And then
Uh,
they have one of these, which is very helpful if you're trying to figure out what are you eating all the time,
uh-huh.
and you're trying to streamline your grocery shopping. Because if you go in, most of the time, if we go in the grocery store without a list,
To buy more
you're
stuff.
going to get more stuff that you don't need, right? And they
No.
also say that if you are really shopping healthy, you're really shopping the outside of a store,
Or,
of a grocery store, because the more you go into the interior in the shelves, the less healthy the food is.
yeah.
So if you notice how a grocery store is set up, you've usually got your fruits, your vegetables, your meats, your cheese,
Yeah.
your juices, usually
Uh-huh.
on the outside aisles. So if you think
Yeah.
about that when you're going into a grocery store, shopping your outside aisles is going to be where your healthier things are located, right?
Okay.
So with this, when I start running out of something, I can automatically just start marking what I'm running out of. So I know for the coming week, I just rip this little page off, and here's my list for
Oh,
next week. I
a wine
just
maker. I'll be right.
yeah, I mean, I just rip it off,
And
and
take
like
it.
say there's something on here, or say I need something that's not on these lists because a lot of this is pre-made. There's still
Uh-huh.
space to write in what that specialty item is,
Oh,
right?
I like that.
So I know that we're getting ready for Thanksgiving, and God knows Thanksgiving food, right, is a little bit different than my normal groceries. So I know I'm
Uh-huh.
going to add a little bit more money to the budget as I
Yeah.
prepare for Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
holiday food. Now, we're not going anywhere, but I
No.
know that my husband likes yams. We
Yes.
may do a little bit of mac and cheese. We're definitely going to
Yes.
do some turkey because we don't do turkey all the time. So I
No.
can add those things in, and
Uh-huh.
this coming grocery run, I'm going to do my Thanksgiving shopping now
Yes.
while there is things available on the shelf, and not
Exactly.
3 days before Thanksgiving and you running around looking for cranberry sauce and
Yeah.
yams and sweet potato pie because it's not going to be there.
Uh, um,
So this has been helpful for me. This has been like a lifesaver, and I've been using these for like 2 years, and
okay.
they have been very helpful because as soon as something in my refrigerator runs out, and I keep this on the side of my refrigerator. It's got a big magnet on the back. As soon as something runs out, I just say, "Oh, well, we're out of onions and we're out of peppers."
Yeah.
So I'm not going into the grocery store trying to keep a mental list of everything I need, and
I can't do
and I'm not
that.
spending a whole lot of time having to
Uh-uh.
write everything down. And this list, right, as you can
I
see,
have.
it goes for the whole year.
Oh wow.
So I just finished the pad from like last year. It's got a
Uh-huh.
total of 100 sheets, so it lasts you 2 weeks. I mean, it
Oh,
lasts you 2 years because there's 52 weeks in a year.
yeah. Oh,
So you
that's
just
good.
you
I
just
like
do one of
that.
these once a week, and you're
And
set.
you know, that would work because you know what I do? In fact, you sent me that, but it's for a list to make a list, and it had the magnet on the refrigerator. So
Hmm.
what I do is when I realize what I'm missing, I go right. But with that, I could just go check,
Yeah,
check
yeah. I mean,
on this.
I found this one, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
This is
you know how
amazing. This takes a lot of the sometimes the thinking out of the process. I just go on here and I'm like, yep.
yeah.
And I love the fact that it's not just food. So it's got a section for pet stuff,
Oh,
household cleaning
oh,
things. It's got toiletries on here because sometimes we'll go to the store and then we'll come back and be like, "Oh Lord, I forgot the toilet paper." Right?
paper.
But
Yeah.
that's on here as well. And so I really, if you are a list person, go to
Yeah.
knock knock knock
Stuff
knock
that's coming.
dot com.
Okay.
Now these are
Okay.
also available if you have a Barnes and Nobles near you. Barnes and Nobles carries these, so that's where I get mine from in person.
Okay.
But the website has all of these on it. It's called knock knock stuff, excuse me,
Yeah.
knocknockstuff.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So once we started doing that, we started realizing, okay, our our grocery bill is usually under $100 a week.
Yeah.
And so we have a little bit of leeway that if we run into a holiday or something like that and we want to add to our budget just a little bit
Yeah.
to cover those specialty items that we only eat during the holidays,
Yes.
then we can do that. But if you don't really kind of keep track, that can be
Uh-huh.
a problem. Um, there was one season where I said, okay, I'm setting aside this amount of money to invest in books by up
Uh-huh.
and coming authors. Once that
Oh,
money is out, which is out right
that's
now,
good.
I'm not buying no
No
more
more
books
books.
for the year. And any other book I'm interested in looking at, I can go to the library and preview that book and put it on my 2022 wish list. But right now,
Okay.
I have no more money for new authors. God bless you.
That's a good, that is a good idea too.
Yeah.
Make
So,
your book list because there's books you want. That is
yeah.
fantastic. I just wrote that down
So
too.
I mean I have a book budget. I also have a clothing budget
Yeah.
because sometimes you run into your wear and tear and some of the things you've been wearing for forever wears out
Oh, Lord.
and you need to replace things. And so
Yeah.
I've already decided if I have to replace a pair of shoes, this is my budget for it.
Yeah.
And if I can't find it in that budget, then that option of shoe wearing is going to have to sit to the side until I can
Yeah.
find something that meets my budget. And usually, if you shop online now, you can find several sites that are selling the same exact thing or similar, and
But
it'll show you what the price comparison is. So to
yeah.
me, again, it's about being mindful. It's about
Yes.
being patient with
Uh-huh.
yourself. It's about being willing to take the time to research.
Yes.
And then some of these places have rewards programs. So
Yeah.
if you buy a certain amount of something, they may give you a certain discount off, or they may give
Uh-huh.
you a coupon off if it's something where you
Yeah.
know you're going to be shopping multiple
You.
times. So
Uh-huh.
those are just some tips of being more
Good.
mindful with your budget. It
Yes.
having a budget doesn't mean that you have to make yourself suffer, right? And
No.
not ever
Uh-uh.
enjoy anything.
Yeah.
Like she
But I
said,
want to know where, just like you said, being mindful. I want to know, where is it going? What am I investing in? You want to be mindful of every. I want to know where down to the penny. I do.
yeah. And remember, as she said, budgets don't grow money, they
Mhm.
manage money.
Money. Yeah.
And even with your bank account balances, because I noticed this, like I have several accounts. I have accounts for business, I have account for saving, I have account for
Mhm.
investment, I have a joint account
Yeah.
where we do, joint bills
Yeah.
from.
Uh-huh.
And then I notice, and then I have accounts at a regular bank, and then I have an account at
It's like
a
credit
credit
union.
union.
Uh-huh.
So I noticed that my credit union actually gives us a really good percentage
Um,
in our accounts based on
uh-huh.
our balance. But then
Yes.
I noticed that if I move my savings money
Mm.
right before the quarter, if I move my savings money to my checking account, I get more money back as a rebate than if I
Oh.
kept it in my savings. So I can
Uh-huh.
move money to the checking, get the
I like the
rebate, and then
transfer.
move my
Yeah.
money back.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's a little hack for those of you all who have credit unions that give you a
Mhm.
rebate percentage back based on your account
Mhm.
balance.
Mhm.
Sometimes when you look at those percentages and you realize, wait a minute, if I leave money over here, I get more back
Ah,
per quarter.
yeah.
Let me just
Yeah.
move this over here for a couple of days,
Good.
collect me some rebate, and then move
Mhm.
it back
Put
over
it
to your
back.
savings. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of different hacks, and I'm excited because I know that she's probably going to cover some
Yeah.
more kind of little known tips in it. If you're wondering what book we're talking about, we are talking about Tiffany Alice's Get Good with Money. Highly recommend that you go and get it and join us on this richer journey
Yeah.
to money management. Now we've covered investing before on our show, but she's also has a chapter as well on investment.
Yeah.
So again, I'm excited and I'm looking forward to hearing what she has to say as well.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Lady Barbara?
Thank you for the material that you always present to us. So I appreciate that. I do.
I appreciate you all as well. Again, thank you, and thank you for the gift that you sent. I don't know what it is yet. I got to go pick it up tomorrow.
I'll get up tomorrow.
But thank you. So I'll let it be a
Welcome.
mystery. I'll let it be a mystery until tomorrow.
Okay. You have a good evening and great weekend.
You
See you
too.
Sunday.
Yes, thank you so very much. Oh, I'm
I'm
excited
looking forward
about
to
Sunday.
Sunday. I,
We'll
I,
be
I saw some little snippets, so I'm like,
we'll be
what's
live
gonna?
on
The other
Sunday.
day I said, Lord, what is she going to be teaching? What have you given her?
Listen, I'm just like I'm gonna be going back to school myself on this topic because um yeah, I'm he basically said, okay, you are this, but let's look at it through a new lens. Let's look at
Okay.
it with new eyes, because
Yes.
everybody talks about the pastor, everybody talks about the prophet. Lord knows people talk about the prophet because everybody want to be one.
And,
But
Lord, I
when
wonder.
you say the Lord has called you to be a teacher,
Oh, Jesus.
it doesn't get the same applause and fanfare. So we'll be
So
talking
you,
about the teacher for the
because
next.
they put the teacher so low down on there, and you're just the teacher, and that's how they'll be saying, oh, when they say, oh, it's apostle, it's a prophet, and that one they like that usurp a bishop. But when you talk about the evangelist, throw that away, and the teacher, toss the teacher away.
So I'm excited because we'll be learning and exploring this together. Again, the Lord said, I know people think they know what a teacher is, but I want you to go back and look at this again. So
Wow.
minus the holidays where we won't be on for those Sundays, we've got about 6 Sundays left of the year where we'll be talking about the teacher, and we're going to go do some in-depth look at the teacher.
Okay.
Find me one person on Facebook who has teacher in front of their name.
Now, oh, that's not popular.
I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
I know I can type in evangelist and I'll find
Yeah.
people with their Facebook name evangelist so and so and so and so,
And prophet.
evangelist ice cream, not my anointed Jackson. I mean, we'll find that, right? And we know we'll find prophet too good to be true, pay for my airplane this month, Williams, right?
Uh-huh.
We'll find that.
Oh.
And sometimes we'll find apostle, get out of
Yes.
my way before I hurt you, Brown.
Oh God.
But go look on Facebook and find somebody with the title teacher in front of their name.
Won't. You won't. I have not seen it.
That's my challenge. Pastor Ben says, I know one.
Okay.
Now they might put doctor in front of their name. Yeah. But I'm just saying teacher as in that is your gift, office, calling, etc.
Yeah. Because if it's mentioned, in fact, they'll say, I walk in the fivefold. You hear them say, and I understand that, but my calling is an apostle, but I have a teacher's anointing or something like that. But they'll never exactly say, I am just a teacher. Like they like to say, you're just a teacher. That's
Yeah.
gonna be good.
And so I know I am a prophetic teacher.
Yeah, yeah,
I know I
yeah,
am. So
yeah.
and really the teacher part hammers more than the prophetic at this season of
It's
my
true.
life.
It's true. The teacher.
And so,
Apostle have that apostolic teaching anointing on him.
yeah,
Apostle took us on
he's
the
an
journey.
apostolic teacher.
Teacher, yeah. He takes us on a journey too.
He comes,
Lord, that was
and it's
it had
amazing
me in here
because,
check. It had me in here checking. Let me see what I'm eating.
and it's amazing because
That was a good one
he
though for
is
me.
he is really an
So
apostle
thorough.
in the real sense of the word,
Yes,
meaning building, establishing, setting things up, changing systems in
yes,
communities,
yes,
getting things literally removed out of communities that should not be there.
yes, yes.
Apostle,
Apostle.
not just letters on a page,
No,
but
or
sitting in the gates, standing in the
it's
gates of the city and getting policies changed and
and that's not
boundaries
well, that's not popular, so
broken down.
everybody don't want to do that. That's not popular.
Listen, I have been with him on some of these apostolic journeys, and I'm like, I'll be praying for you.
Amen. Amen.
Because it takes a strength of will and fortitude to do the
Do
work
it.
that he does.
Amen.
And so, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. This
Yeah,
has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I've been your host tonight, Shantae Charles. I pray that you have a great and wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and I hopefully will see you. If you are on my IG, I will be on Facebook and YouTube on Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be on the YouTube page here, and then I'll be on Facebook on the page Life Nation.
Amen.
And you can join us if you're interested in learning more about what God has to say about the teacher.
Yes.
I know we got lots of stuff to say.
Oh, Jesus.
But I'm interested in what the Lord has shared with me to share with
Amen.
you about the teacher.
Yes.
So until then, remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness. So continue to go out and be what, Lady Barbara?
Be light.
Be light. Take care, everyone, and God bless.
God bless.